How's the shadow? Any shadow? I'm Jay Pitts, a real estate broker, agent, leader, and investor. For the last decade, I've navigated the craziest of real estate markets this country has ever seen, selling over 2,000 homes, moving in and out of markets, always ahead of the curve. And now I'm bringing that perspective to you. This is your resource, and Real Talk About Real Estate starts right now. And we're back, folks. Welcome back to Resource, Real Talk About Louisville Real Estate. I'm your host, Jay Pitts, broker owner at RE/MAX Premier Properties, leader of JT Pitts and Associates. So just give you a quick little rundown, not going to bore you, going to move through this pretty quickly because I want to save plenty of time for today's topic. Don't forget, you can follow us on all the socials, The Resource Podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram at J Pitts Realtor, Twitter at JTPA Louisville, J_Pitts on TikTok, YouTube.com/J Pitts Realtor. And you can find us on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. All 5-star reviews, follows, and such are greatly appreciated. You can also find us pretty much anywhere else you podcast, but those are the two main points of influence for us to distribute our content. We'd appreciate all your support on those platforms. Don't forget our sister piece of content you can find through all our channels, JTP University and JTPU Quick Hits, where we give you bite-sized, actionable advice to put to work in your real estate business today. Now, for today's topic, I'm going to lay out for you something that is the holy grail of real estate careers, the thing that we all strive for, the thing that new agents wish for when you get in the business and you are banging your head up against a wall, trying to build a business, trying to make traction, trying to just get to where you feel like every piece of success is not a hard-fought battle. The thing that makes you have staying power, it moves you beyond the 97% failure rate that we so often quote here on this podcast. It's the holy grail, as I said in the beginning. And that is working with your family and your friends. Now, oftentimes they say things like list or don't last. That's the advice that a seasoned real estate professional provides a new agent. List or don't last. That reflects the idea that you're going to spend a substantial amount of personally invested time, energy, effort, expense, especially in today's market where there's $4.25 a gallon gas, running buyers around town looking at multiple houses, looking at, properties in South Louisville, in East Louisville, in the north end of the county, downtown, looking at Bullitt County, looking at Oldham County, looking at this school district or that. Buyers run you ragged. We know that, especially when you're writing multiple offers per property. You're writing, unsuccessful offers. You're having contracts fall through at inspection because it's just an inherently adversarial situation out there. Okay? We know that this is a problem. The challenge is how do you get through it? How do you move to a listing-based business? We all know homeowners that are family, that are friends, that are, people that we, see at a barbecue. We also probably all too well know that kind of inherent, unease, anxiety that fear that you're going to be a sleazy salesperson, that you're going to be someone that they don't want to see coming their direction when they're at their daughter's birthday party, when you're there, at a family function. You don't want to be that sleazy salesperson. But I'm going to excuse all that because, I don't think I can adequately explain to you how to go about making friends with those close to you in a 30-minute podcast episode. You're going to kind of have to do that on your own, right? You kind of have to be somewhat inherently likable to have some success in this business. I won't reset for you the things that I feel make a prospective real estate agent successful and the things that I evaluate for when I try to work with someone getting into the business. But likability, I will say, is very high on the list. You have to do that for yourself. I cannot do that for you. I can give you some tips. I can give you some tricks. But you have to be likable for yourself. You have to be able to go and get the business from the people that care about you the most, all on your own. Now, I'll tell you that you have two jobs in real estate. That is to simultaneously grow the size of your network while stimulating more interaction within that network, that sphere of influence, if you will. You have to do those all at the same time. Grow the size of the pie while increasing the number of interactions within the pie. Those are your two jobs as a new real estate agent. And as you do that, more and more opportunities will find you, that inbound business. That inbound business. Listen, it's no secret that the retention rate, that the success rate, that the failure rate changes dramatically around the amount of time where your first clients as a real estate agent start to repeat as clients. Because first time they're likely to be a buyer, the second time they're a seller and a buyer, and that's 2 times the business. Not to mention real estate being an appreciating asset. That home you sold them 5-6 years ago has gone up substantially in value, and people tend to move up purchase, and we get paid on a percentage basis. This is all simple math, guys. I shouldn't have to lay this out. But the success rate dramatically increases when that happens. But there's a way to beat that dynamic, and that's working with your sphere of influence and doing so successfully. The thing you need to keep in mind is that most people that like you, they have a well-founded opinion about you. If they think you're irresponsible, there are things in your life that you have done to teach them that you're irresponsible. If they think that you're unsuccessful, if they think that you're unreliable, you did that. You made those choices. I'm going to wager a guess that the majority of you as real estate agents, aspiring successful real estate agents, aren't in that position. I'm going to assume that you've taught them that you are reliable, that you are formidable, that you are successful. I'm going to make that assumption for now. And I think it's by and large true, certainly of the agents we have here in this brokerage and on my team. Part of that's because those are evaluations that I make when I bring on an agent. And I don't bring on people that I don't think give the impression that they're successful people. Because people that are successful at real estate are mostly successful at anything they've ever done. All right, so now let's talk about working with friends and family after you've secured the business. Because you can't oftentimes change the perception someone has of you that is built over years and decades for the better, not in an instant. You can't just get your real estate license and go to someone who has a 20-year history, a 20-year relationship with you, and convince them that the ink drying on your real estate license has had some miraculous change over you. over your choices, your behaviors, your abilities. So they're not going to choose you because of the sales pitch you give them, but they just might choose not to use you the second time or refer you their friends and acquaintances if you don't handle the interaction with them effectively the first chance you get. They're going to choose you. I repeat, they're going to choose you based on what you've taught them over the entirety of your relationship. But they're going to refer you based on the experience they have during the interaction. Uncle Joe is going to list his house with you, his baby, that he cuts the grass with scissors to make sure that it's exactly 4 inches at precisely 3 p.m. every Saturday afternoon in the spring. His baby, he's going to use you to sell his most prized possession, greatest asset. He's going to list with you because you've told him that you're responsible, that you're successful in years, if not decades prior. That's what gets you the opportunity the first time. But you better believe that Uncle Joe will fire your ass if you don't do a good job the one opportunity he gives you. And he certainly won't refer you his friends at the VFW or at the bowling league or the men's basketball league that he runs through. So let's take these 5 things that I'm about to give you in this episode right now to ensure that your interaction with Uncle Joe or Aunt Kim or your cousin Jake or your best friend from Little League or any of their friends who have put their trust in you. Let's take these 5 pieces of advice to ensure those interactions are as good as they can be. And let me tell you, if you do these things, you will shorten the learning curve. Okay. You will flatten out the upward arc of your career, and you will not have the roller coaster that is internet leads, that is released transactions, that is frustration thrust upon you by a challenging market. You will steadily climb, and your only concern will be how fast do I grow? 5 things. Let's go. Number 1, speak plainly. Speak plainly. And this is a moment where your insecurity as an inexperienced agent can show like a flashing red light on your forehead. First piece of advice when it comes to speak plainly is do not ignore the fact that you are new. Lean into it. And if you're experienced, talk about your level of experience because they may not know they don't go to bed every night thinking about you and your real estate career. They don't necessarily know how successful you are. It doesn't matter if you're $1 Million Month Club or your Agent of the Week 82 times last year in your first year in the business. People don't go to bed each night thinking about you. They think about their own stuff. They think about getting their kids to school, think about paying college tuition. They think about making sure they make their mortgage payments. They think about how much overtime they're going to get at work. They don't think about you. So speak plainly. Tell them your level of experience or the lack thereof. Because all you're really doing is trying to affirm what they already think of you. A friend, a successful person, a decent real estate agent because you're pretty decent at anything you do. Affirm what they already think. And if they happen to be competing, which they won't likely be because they've already chosen you because of what you were, not what you are, okay? If you happen to be competing, which is unlikely, set yourself apart. They don't know what's better and worse. They know what they see. They know what they feel. And if you speak about different things than everyone else they interview, that stands out. It begs questions. And if you're good at answering them, then you're going to come out ahead. Speak plainly. Don't sell, tell. There's a very, very fine line between telling and selling. Telling is controlling the conversation, controlling the interaction, being resolute in your statements, projecting what's going to happen before it does. Selling is insecurity and anxiety and overtalk that leaves them feeling worse about you, not better. Now, you can oversell all you want and they still may hire you because remember, you have a close personal relationship and you still haven't lost yet. But it's going to be harder to get what you want if the situation doesn't go perfectly, if they come away from the original meeting with you not feeling like you're 100% in control. That's number one. Number two, when it happens, and it will, break bad news in person. Have the guts to physically look them in the eye and tell them when something doesn't go their way. If it cannot be done in person, although I almost would require it if you gave me the option, with a difficult personality, if it cannot be done, then do it with a phone call so that they can hear your voice, tone, and inflection. They can feel your body language. Communication is only 7% the words you choose. The other 93% is your tone, inflection, volume, and body language. They need to feel it when you give them bad news. They need to hear you. They need to see you if possible. Other than breaking bad news, either over the phone or in person, again, preferably in person, do it quickly. Do not wait. You know who waits? People that are scared wait to break bad news. You can't be scared in working with friends and family. They get to be scared. You get to have solutions. That was the next piece of advice. Don't break bad news without a solution. Figure out what is next, preferably an action step, because no matter what it is or how effective it is, people will be more comfortable understanding that a problem is followed by an action that moves toward a solution. Hey, I'm so sorry. The buyer's backing out of the deal. We had no way of anticipating this. The inspection uncovered a few things. I don't agree with the results. I'm getting you the information on that, but the buyer's not going to be proceeding. However, remember the other three parties that we had interested that showed but didn't have time to get in an offer? I've already called those agents, let them know it's going to be coming to market, and I do believe that 2 of the 3 of those will be submitting offers, and we may not even have to put it back live on the MLS. I would love that because I'd love to sell the property without actually showing that a contract is released. That way, in case this one goes south, which is entirely possible, it always is, then we only show 1 release and not 2. That's our next step. You see, there's tone, there's confidence, there's directness. If I make that call as soon as I know the information and I have a solution, okay, they may not like it, but they still feel like you're the steady hand that they need, controlling the activity on their greatest asset. Number 3, explain the process. Explain the problem. Explain anything and everything as though you're not friends. Be just as thorough with your friends or family as you would be with anyone else. They need to understand. They trust you inherently, implicitly. They trust you. The only way you will sour that trust is by allowing things to happen that are different than they assumed because you didn't clarify what to expect. That's called context. When you hear me say context, that's what I mean. Expectation setting, that's what I mean. You have to be the one that tells your client, your friend, your mentor, your family member, your parents. You have to tell them what's going to happen before it happens. And if you're good, it happens just like you said it, and it sets you another level apart. Because trust me, the opportunity to earn the trust of a client, a consumer, a friend, a referral source is not the perfect transaction. It's the difficult one. It's the difficult one navigated flawlessly. It's the greatest opportunity to show the difference between you and everyone else. Problems are what sets you apart and how you solve them. Problems is what makes you the money. makes you the big bucks, puts you at the top of the Pareto principle. The 80% of the money made by 20% of the agents, that's how you get in that top 20%. Number 4, do not coddle them. Do not take responsibility for things that are not your fault. Do not talk to them like children. Do not speak to feelings. As much as you possibly can, speak to facts. Speak to facts. That's how you stay resolute. You can have empathy and not coddle. You can care and empathize with their plight, their circumstances, but they are still their circumstances, not yours. Do not say, sorry, this happened, unless you caused it to happen. The moment, and I've said this 1,000 times over my career, I've said it in numerous podcast episodes, when you apologize for something that is not your fault, you give the other party permission to blame you for it. You make them think that you're dishonest or disingenuous, that you're outright lying about it not being your fault, because why would you apologize? Even if it's subconscious, you take and accept the blame for the problem when you apologize for it. Read my lips. Don't apologize for the market. You know, the reason why buyer's agents are predominantly newer agents and listing agents on average are more experienced is because when the buyer does not have success, the agent doesn't get the blame, the market does. When the listing agent doesn't get the results, it's not the market that gets the blame, it's the agent. And until you get experience, you're not capable of accepting that blame and accountability. I'm telling you to learn how to shoulder the difficult conversation, how to deliver the words that help you explain that it's not your fault when it's not your fault. That there was nothing you could do about this possible circumstance. This is inherent to buying and selling real estate. There is risk involved anytime you enter the market. How to artfully give people bad news and not coddle them through it and still come out the other side being likable, being trusted, that's top of the mountain peak for real estate agents. If you want to be the most successful in your market, in your office, in your brokerage, on your team, master the art of being likable through giving bad news. Number 5, and this is very important and very, very direct. When a difficult choice comes along, and it will, could be a number of things: where to list your home, for what price, what offer to take in a multiple offer, whether to wait. I'm going through a situation right now where I have a very good offer with a short deadline and 10 showings right behind it. Do we take the good offer now or do we wait? This materializes a number of ways. What to respond, what to agree to do on a home inspection. When a difficult decision comes along in the midst of working with a client, in transaction, prior to a transaction, before listing, on the buy side, sell side, anywhere and everywhere, what inspector to hire? Ask your client if they would like your opinion. Is it your opinion that matters most or their opinion that matters most? It's their opinion. They're the boss. But every successful real estate agent that I know, that I've known throughout the course of my career, takes ownership of their client's success and makes choices and exerts their influence over a transaction, regardless of what sort of risk that may create for them. Their fingerprints are all over the deal. That's why they hire you. That's why you're the best. because you say what to do and then it works. Ask if they want your opinion and then give it to them. Don't half step. Don't CYA when not necessary. You know what difficult clients not to go out on a limb for. You know which ones will punish you for your opinions. You're doing them just as good a service in that situation by saying, what do you think? All right, man, maybe we should do that. But your friends and family work with you because of who you are, what you are to them, who you've been to them in the past, and what you will be for them in the future. We know how intensely personal this process is. We know that. It's why most of us stick in this business, because we can't get enough of it. When the pressure is on, we execute. And we do so for the people that mean the most to us. It's a beautiful thing when it's done correctly. It's an ugly thing when it's done wrong. So ask them if they want your opinion. They sometimes, regardless of how good you are, may feel like they need to make a decision in a vacuum. They don't want to put undue pressure on you. So it's your job to say, hey, that's what I'm here for. Do you want my opinion? I'll tell you exactly what I would do. Well, I would ask this offer for an extension of time for 24 hours before we respond. And I would tell them that if they don't want to grant the extension, then they're just going to miss out, because we're going to end up with multiple offers tomorrow. Now, yeah, of course they want to get it accepted before those offers come in, and they're trying to gain an advantage. But we don't have to give it to them, because guess what? Right now we have more leverage than they have. And yes, if it ends up being our only offer and we miss out, then that's unfortunate. But guess what? We're still at the lowest level of inventory this market has ever seen. And I venture a guess that someone else will come along that is interested in this property. Here are the superlatives. I'll remind you why they're so interested. Don't be afraid to exert your leverage. I mean, nobody walks out onto the mound of a baseball field and decides in that moment to throw left-handed instead of right when they've thrown right-handed their whole life. You don't take on needless disadvantage. No. If you've got the 98-mile-an-hour fastball, you step up there with your strong arm and you throw it right down the middle and you dare them to hit it. That's what leverage is. In this market, when you have it, you use it. That's my opinion. What's yours? And then they'll tell you what concerns they have with the situation that you laid out. And if they don't have any reservations, they say, you know what? We're glad we hired you. Do it. Do it now. Ask if they want your opinion. Don't just give it to them without asking. Some people may not want it. Good chance they do. Ask if they want your opinion and then give it to them. In recap, speak plainly. Speak plainly. Break bad news in person, do it quickly, and have a solution. Number 2. Number 3, explain to them like they're not your friends. Take the time. If they try to slow you down, say, you know what? I think it's a really good idea that you hear this. This is a challenging market, and I want you to know what to expect. Number 4, don't coddle them. Treat them like children. They're adults, and their problems are not your problems. You didn't cause them, so don't apologize for them. Number 5, ask for their opinion, or ask if they want your opinion, your professional opinion, I might add, and I usually include that. Would you like my professional opinion? And then give it to them. Okay? Don't sell, don't oversell, but give context. All of these things are rooted in communication. I'm sure that's not lost on you, because effective communication is the difference between a good and a great agent. Effective communication. Once again, those are 5 things that working with friends and family will make your representation bulletproof. It will get you more business. It will help you cement the relationship and cement their already held opinion that you're a successful person, right? Don't be afraid to remind them of your level of qualification or the lack thereof and lean into it, okay? All those things will build you a better sphere of influence business and a longer and more fruitful real estate career. All right. Once again, I am Jay Pitts, broker owner, RE/MAX Premier Properties, host of Resource Real Talk about Louisville real estate. Quick recap before we go. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Resource Podcast, at JTPA Louisville on Twitter, at Jay Pitts Realtor on Instagram. Lots of content there for you. Reels, lots of videos, feed posts, and stories. At J_Pitts on TikTok. We are really working on our TikTok presence. Please find us over there. Give us a like. Give us a follow. We'd love to have you. YouTube.com/Jay Pitts Realtor for live streamed and full episodes every Wednesday right around lunchtime. Also, give some focus. Wherever you podcast is fine. You can find us there, but we'd love you to see us on iTunes. Give us a 5-star review. Give us a follow, or Spotify. Those are the two main platforms that we like to push for the podcast. We'd love to have you on either one of those sites. Once again, Jay Pitts, broker owner, RE/MAX Premier Properties, Resource Real Talk about Louisville real estate. We'll see you soon.